Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper calling you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourselves and having a positive week wherever you are in the world. Hopefully your week is starting well, and hopefully your 2025 is starting very, very well. 2025 nearly getting off with a bang. January is nearly over, right? It's not long now until we hit in February, which is kind of interesting. It's going very, very quick. Right, we're back on my account, and I had a idea to do something very, very different for the video for today. And I wanted to go something that I guess a lot of players still don't do in this game, especially in PvP content, and players are not aware of these stuff, because with this meta right now, it's currently speed meta, and back in the day when I first started playing Raid, and a lot of OG in-game players that started playing Raid, we was used to this meta, so we was doing all these tricks. And what I'm going to be giving out throughout today's information, I will be going through the whole of this in depth, so it's recommended not to skip any of this. I would also like to kind of tell you this now, that my gear is pretty insane. I have loaded some of the stats for today's video, but don't be put off by the stats. The rules will still be the same. Doesn't matter if you're a mid player, end game player, or late game player. If you're free to spend, Kraken, or whatever. I help a lot of people in PvP and PvC through takeovers, coaching sessions, and all this stuff through that. So if you're interested in that, my Discord is down in the links in this. So let's go through all this. I'm going to drop timestamps down below. We have come up with a free-to-play team. Yes, a free-to-play team that can farm any or most gold 5 teams. Now, this is not a platinum arena video or a platinum arena team, so I do want to kind of put it out there. I want to help the average person, honestly, today think about winning most arena battles, especially if your gig rate haul is not max. This will help you in Siege. This will help you in 3 vs 3. And you can even use this method in lower levels of live arena. Now, there's a few ways that we can counter this, metas, etc. And I'll be dropping a couple of videos over the next couple of weeks talking about metas and how to counter the meta where certain champions, some of them are pay to win, well, most of them are paid to win. There is a couple that are accessible as epics or like free-to-play champions that can stir up a mess or two. So it's going to be a interesting series for this. So today we're going to look at mainly Alice again. I dropped Alice video on her last week, and it was Leaffoot that gave me the idea. He's always loves my videos, and I really appreciate it, but he'll kind of give me a interesting comment that I wanted to think about. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should use this as opportunity to take this as a more of a guide and try and help people to come a bit step closer. So today we're going to use champions that are accessible as missions or accessible through shards like epics, etc. So we're going to use these champions today. We're going to use Arbiter in our speed race. So Arbiter is going to give me the speed lead, the Tune of Presence blessing, and the turn meter boost in this. We're going to use 2 epic champions today, which one of them is going to be a champion who is probably one of the most budget ones out there as a lockout champion, and that's going to be Alika. Alika is a force epic. Obviously, there is better options out there if you have them, like Basher, for example. Who else is out there? Warlord, Yumiko, and Gatrixia. They're like the upgraded versions of this type of ability. So Alika is definitely there as well. And then we're going to use, you can even use Alice in that situation as well. You can use Alice in that role as well, but we're going to use Alice as a damage dealer. You could use a different damage dealer for that. I guess that it's going to be the 3rd champion. And then the 4th champion will be Gorgo, because he's also a epic and he is bringing a turn meter boost and etc. So I'll do a full breakdown of the team when we go into arena. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the arena team and show you and explain to you what are the mechanics and the basic principle of building a arena team for today's meta. Okay, so when we're building a team in this meta, this is what we want to be looking at. So arbiter, obviously coming in with speed lead. Now, if you don't have arbiter for whatever reason, then you can use any speed lead in this role. For example, Gorgo has advantage. Also, Haikatoon, who is a free-to-play login champion after 30 days, also has the both mechanics as turn meter boost, increased speed, and a speed lead as well. Another thing as well you're looking for is 2 turn meter boost champions, which is going to be the easiest way to do this. So, for example, we're going to go Gorgo, you've got Apothecary, Seeker, Morgate. There's so many champions that can increase turn meter, etc. Freya as well that can do that. Now, Freya is not a free-to-play champion, so we're not going to use Freya for today, but I use Freya myself. And then we have the crowd control champion. Now, you can use champions like Stun, like Harmad's, Sleep, if you're using single target nuka. But for today's video, we're going to use Lockout because it goes really well with Alice and it increases Alice's damage by quite a bit. Now, if you don't have alika and you don't have a Lockout champion at all, we all do receive Alice and the 5-star blessing. So you could also put Alice in this role as well and use her as the lockout champion and bring in another nuka here, like a Song Wong or whatever here. Now, today we're going to use Alice as our nuka because most of you guys are going to get her 5-star blessing or the 4-star blessing just by logging in and doing the daily activities. So, Alika will be our crowd control champion and Alice will be our damage dealer for today's showcase. And then we have everything in it. Now, when we're talking about blessings, blessings are seriously important. So you can see that this team here is basically not using very good blessings, but we are using a Tune of Presence blessing, which is going to be super key. Obviously, not all of you guys will have a Tune of Presence blessing, which I'll talk about other blessings that we can use in situation as well. So that's going to be super key. The person who goes first is going to be the person that probably wins the fight. That's the whole point of building speed teams. You either die fast or you kill fast, and that is basically in the way. Now, in the arena, for a live arena, you can just use the same, but bring in a second damage dealer, and even if they banned your crowd control champion, you still have 2 turn meter boost, so your speed tunes. Yes, there's a thing called speed tune. So speed tune is very, very important in this game. How do we speed tune? Where you're going to type in Jedward calculator and you're going to do this. So these are for today's speeds, and obviously you don't need to be 400. Most of you guys are 360, so these speeds will change. Don't look at these speeds of like, hey Grim, how are we going to speed tune? My account is endgame, right? So I can run faster. Obviously, that's something that you need to take into consideration. And I'm going to talk about what teams to hit and what teams not to as well throughout this video. So don't worry, I've got you covered on that part. Now, Arbiter is not my fastest champion. I think she's my 4th fastest, and she is coming in at 400 speed. Now, the tool is not upgraded correctly and is not well, it's working correctly, but it's not updated, right? It's very out of date. So stuff like protection sets, etc., it's not really calculating in it. So I've just gone out and put 3 speed sets here. Obviously, Lord Steel, yes, turn meter booster, which is their role, and then put in the right skill, which is going to be super, super important. Now, Gorgo has got 50% turn meter here, so he is quite on the low end on turn meter. I think Apothecary has a 20, and then there's other champions like with like 30 and etc., which will help lower your speeds across the board here as well. So Gorgo is going to be coming in at 317 minimum. I always say rule of thumb, add 5 speed. So you say, okay, let's make him 326. And then same here, 316. And then same here, 316. You will do want Noble to go after, which is our Alice as well, because Alice is not in the calculator, after Alika, right? So we're running the cruelty on the Alika just so we can get some ignore defense through, and just it's just basically on there. And there's a timid presence replacement. If you don't have the timid presence replacement, then you can go ahead and use the epic version of the timid presence, which would be the presence, right? So if you have the common presence, this will increase your speed aura, but won't lower theirs. Just increases your speed aura, which is still very, very useful, but it's not as strong as in Tim Presence. Tim Presence is lowering theirs and increasing yours. It is worth noting, if you have a level 6 of this and then a level 1 in Tim Presence, the level 1 in Tim Presence will override this and this won't work. You can see here it says only Tim Presence will work, and you can't stack this in any way, so you only need 1 or 2, especially for Lyrina. You probably just need 2 or 1 of the blessings to make this work. So you want to be trying to run Tim Presence if you can. You could even take it on Alice if you wanted. Alice would give you a 5-star just off the bat, and that would still work for your aura. Right, so I think we've gone through everywhere. So what teams would I be looking for as a late game or end game player? It's free to play, or mid game player with this, or even as early game player? Well, first thing I'll be taking into consideration who's got a better speed aura. So in this fight, for example, we have the same speed aura, but you will see here they're not running any timid presence, and we are running timid presence. So most likely we are faster, which gives me the green light to go and attack them. Now you can see here we've got team powers, which doesn't really mean anything if I'm being honest. Krisk is going to be a little bit difficult here because Krisk is going to bring a shield, which is going to lower my damage and up his damage of survivability. So you could go ahead and skip here. Now we're not up at the high end of plat. I just wanted to show you guys on the basic terms. You'll see here we are faster. Now, if they are faster than you, but they're not speed tuned, you still have a chance to win this as well. So you can see here we're going to increase speed, increase turn meter. I'm going to make sure we hit the right ability here, which is going to be the defense down and lockout. Sorry, not defense down. And then we were looking at this team and we were thinking how much damage we have got. So we're going to use the AoE because we've got no stone skin to worry about, and it's boom boom baby, good night for 2 of these champions. Now they're completely locked out. We don't have to worry about anything else. They might try to do some shenanigans, but everything else is generally fine. We will have to deal with a little bit of shenanigans from like the fear, etc., but that should be perfectly fine. We should still win this fight perfectly fine. And there you are, perfectly fine, no worries. Very average team that we attacked. But again, if you follow all these rules, you can make this work throughout this. Now, this is not meant to be a platinum team. This is not meant to be like a crazy team of farming crazy people. You just want it to be farming the average person. You could go ahead and try something like this, for example. You are guaranteed to be faster already. If you are looking at teams like this where you don't need to be speed tuned, you could look at another nuker. At the moment, I don't really have another free-to-play nuker available at the moment. I guess we could throw in Marius. And then the trick is go arbiter into lockout into a double nuke team. Now, stone skin will be a bit of a problem. You can count this many ways as well. By using a bomb champion like Nishak or something. You could also throw in a bomb champion instead of a lockout champion, so you can deal with the stone skin. As long as you speed tune, you would be perfectly fine. Again, I'm only using her really because it increases Alice's damage overall. So you can see here we're going to come in with some damage, and we're going to then come in with the double nuke and try to take them out. You can see here they're very tanky, which is good to see. It means he's built his teams fairly well. Now, Alika hasn't really got any damage in her because we built her for CC, which is one of them ones. It is a very weak Taurus, to be honest. And again, you can use a defense down and weaken champion as long as you got a way to counter the polymorph to do more damage as well. But once you got that big boy blessing on Alice, you're going to hit a lot harder, and it's going to really increase your chances of winning. Champ team like this as well can be very difficult because you have someone like him, for example, which can be a little bit of a nuisance. So you could use some type of survivability champion, which I would say something like a Necrid could be kind of fine in this ability. So you can speed tune the arbiter into lockout, have the Necrid to protect your Alice, and then you could be fairly fine like that. You can see here we've got timid presence level 6 and we're level 4, so it just tells me that's not a good team to attack. Okay, so we can see here we have a He-Man, we have a Arbias, sorry, not Arbias, Armads, Eva, and a damage dealer. So you can see he's got the same type of mechanics, turn me to boost into CC, speed tunes, and double damage dealer, which is perfectly fine. We're going to come in with our Gorgo, and because again we have the better speeder, we have the timid presence, better blessing. Timid presence has got level 1, we've got level 4. We should be faster. Now you want to be trying to get yourself a level 6 in timid presence if you're becoming more end game, because the more end game that you are, the better, the harder the teams will get. Now you can see here we are feared from the Taurus, which would be normally of something that can say goodnight to us. So you could use Stone Skin to block that, which is why I put on alika really to a case to do any type of counter attack or retribution or something like that, which is not going to cause me issue so much. And you will see there we're going to do the one shot because the alika is increasing the Alice's damage from the blessing. Sorry, not from the blessing, from her passive where all the skills are on cooldown. We are going to get extra damage, and we're able to outspeed them as well because we got double Terminator boost and his was dead. You can see there, very difficult team on paper, but it's pretty much night for them. And you can see here you should be able to go through. Kaimar can be a little bit of a difficult for people, but no worries, we can do this. Now the most most people can get their arbiter to like 360, and we're going to talk about how you get your arbiters faster and what to kind of look out for when you're building it in the optimizer as well, which is something I do on takeovers all the time, which is going to be super important to kind of understand and how to do this, because I still find my regulars on stream still making the same mistakes as pretty much everyone else. Now we're struggling in this one because of affinity, which is pretty much the issue at the moment. We can also get a lockout that Alice hasn't really got any accuracy in, but she will benefit from that level 5 overall as well. And then obviously you can find one-man teams, and then there's plenty of teams again. You got another team here. We have the better speeder, just he's got a couple of mythicals. Now he could have took the speeder here or here, like in timid presence, to really help us, but again he hasn't, so it's one of them ones, and he's probably going to lose the speed race and lose the fight through this. Now you can see he is using a shield set. I wouldn't recommend doing that. We have got to deal with 4 who is in Stone Skin, but we have a lockout which doesn't really worry about that. We did weak hit there on him, which is fine, he's a mythical anyway. Song Wonk will come back. We can try to do the A2 to strip the Stone Skin there. Alice will have to deal with some shenanigans. We'll take out 4 there. We don't get him because we've got no damage on alika, which is fine. And you can see there we didn't get lockout there because we weak hit, which is perfectly fine. Now we come in and do this. She does her stuff. She's not built for damage, but still doing damage. Shows you how hard alika can do. And then she's going to come in and do 192k on that ability there. So let's go into the teams. Let's talk about how to get faster, how to speed tune, and stuff like that, and do a bit more of a breakdown depth on that type of information. Okay, so we are back here, and I just want to look at this quickly before we went into this. Now, most people have up to 350 or 3 360, 365, right? That's the most arbiters I see. And then I do a takeover and get them like 390, 400. You'll be surprised like what pieces I find on people's accounts to kind of make this a bit better, right? But you can see here the true speeds have changed, right? And that's the most important bit. So if you're only at 350, but you have a timid presence level 6, that's really going to help you a lot. If you've got timidence level 5 and they have no timid presence, that's going to help you a lot. You can see here the speed requirements drop a lot. And then you see here the average nuke then is 265. Ideally in Savage or Lethal Instinct, you can use Instinct to try and make up for the speeds. Now, you don't need so much the nuker to be speed tuned, but it will help your success rate if you are, because if they use a lockout champion, especially in classic live arena, then this can get you locked out in your nuker and help them save the fight in some sense. And that is one reason why I would kind of look at that. So for these teams, I would go Gorgo 275, but still try and make them fast as possible if you could. Alika can be 265, and then the nukers could be 265. So Alika could be 266, whatever you want to do on the account. Now, to also kind of make your life a bit easier and to up your success rate mainly in live arena because of the picks and the bans, what you could do with your live arena one is actually speed tunes your crowd control champions like your lockouts, your stuns, etc. with your turn-meter boost. So say for example Gorgo you make 310 and then Alika you can make 300 or 290. Go ahead and do that again for accuracy, minimum 500 for crowd control champions, and there's a lot of ways that you can make that up now through like relics, blessings, and etc. as well. So when we're looking to build a champion for speed, a lot of people forget about the speed and how to build speed champions. Now, a lot of people forget about bottom row. Bottom row has become very important in this speed meta. So for example, we have pinpoint going on right now, which is a speed meta. And you can see here we would receive some speed. And that is a speed set for you to go out and go ahead and get extra speed on your arbiter or your turn-meter boost or your CC champions. Feral set can kind of do that in some sense as well as a 2-piece set with 5 speed if you're really desperate. I'd feel that it's harder to get that than the pinpoint. I have to say pinpoint and protection is probably easiest too. You also have Sonic set as well. Like you have a good piece top row on Sonic set. Sonic set can really help as well as a 3-piece set. And then obviously weird protection, which you can farm from Hydra, can also be a 3-piece set with 12 speed. Now protection gives you more speed than other sets other than pinpoint. So that's one thing to kind of take into consideration. Pinpoint's probably easiest to build with that 10 speed coming in there, which would really, really help you. Now, the Sonic sets accessories, you farm on double bosses and bosses on Curse City. So if you're not beating that content, you won't really have good accessibility to this. It'd be more luck. So your best ways would be the pinpoint. And if you could farm stage 20, that would be perfectly fine. So how do we build speed champions then? Well, for the banner, you're just looking and prioritizing the speed substat. The accuracy is a bonus for like champions like Arbiter, for example, but you're not really prioritizing it, right? You just want to go fast as possible. Whatever survivability you can get, whatever accuracy you can get for your Arbiter is just a bonus at the end of the day. So you can see here we have a triple speed banner, and then we're using 2 protection pieces because I got 3 pieces of protection here. Now you could use Sand Devil Oil as well to gain yourself another 12 speed. I see a lot of people making this mistake, taking HP defense or just not even caring about this whatsoever. We have accuracy chest here. Again, the optimizer basically picked up on this because it's got speed on the chest, and this is a broken piece on that. Then we have a tap paired gloves, which isn't great for Arbiter, but it does have really good speed rolls. And then again, along the top, we have a triple there, and then we have a triple there, and then we have a triple there. That's not me flexing, that is me just showing you what is going on how am I getting so fast, because the faster you can go, the better it can go as well. And we can take stuff as well to kind of help your meter boost as well, which would be something like this, which we can't really calculate into the calculator at the moment, but it can really help your allies to be speed tuned. I need to do more testing with that for sure. And then we're talking about this. Now, when we're talking about masteries, for your fastest champion, you want to be taking a timely intervention, and you want to be taking the cycle of revenge, which is really, really useful. And then I guess after that, you want to be taking Evil Eye. Evil Eye is very, very important if you're going throughout the run, especially for live arena with that A1. It does require accuracy, so take that into consideration. You can see here for Georgie, he's going to also have like the same kind of masteries. Don't need to run 2 champions with 10 presence, but if the ban one, you have the other. And then for Blessing, you guess you can take that as well. And there is other relics where you can take speed as well there, which is worth consideration. And then here you can just see here, I just done a lazy build for being honest, but again, I have a lot of pinpoint, a lot of protection that could come in, and etc. on the speed sets overall. And then you can see here we're just prioritizing that overall. And then again 360 here, and then survivability is the bonus. We've got the empowerment, which helps with 10 speed, which is really solid for epics. And then you're also getting extra accuracy for alika as well, which is really, really useful. So alika coming in at 358. Again, alika doesn't need to be that fast. You do want to be minimum 500 accuracy here. I didn't want to change the masteries because I use her in Curse City, but you definitely should be going something like Eagle Eye for sure. And then Cruelty for the Blessing for me was perfectly fine. It means AoE in the day, and it just helps a little bit more damage. And then minimum accuracy 500 on crowd control champions, etc. Now I've gone for Stone Skin because it's a bit safer, and you do want to be trying to run Stone Skin if you can, because of like mastery procs. If there's like some type of Sonic set in the team that cuts in, that can break speed tune as well. And then you can see here Alice of the Wonderland coming in with some damage. She's coming in at 306. She's not speed tuned with my account. She needs to be 311, which is something I need to work on really. Attack is only 5,300. Critical damage coming in at 292, and then accuracy coming in at 167. I want to do this with no blessing, because once you get the blessing, my stats will start popping a little bit, and I wanted to kind of lower that down. So you can see here we're using the Slayer set to make sure we're crit capped, which is useful. We're using a speed set overall. And then for the relics, we're actually using the rare one, which can give me extra damage, and then a big chunk of critical damage as well. And then for blessings, I guess you can rather pick. And then these are the damage dealing masteries that we're using on Alice, as this is what I generally would like to take. So again, if you're going to be running at 265 with a 5-star blessing, if you can get like 6,500, 300 critical damage in 4-piece ignore defense set and Stone Skin set, definitely try and push for that. Don't push for speeds too much after that really, because then you're just losing damage and you don't really need to. You're speed tuned in a day, you don't need to go any faster unless you're looking to increase your speed from your meter boost champions, and then you'll need to re-speed tune all of them together. I guess that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy this. It's not normally a type of video I make, but I thought why not? It's something fun and something different, talking about arena and how to build a basic arena team for this. Now there is obviously counters to this, it's not perfect, but when we're talking about the average account that just needs to farm the Great Hall, etc., this is a perfect team with Alice and the Wonderland. That's it for today's video. As usual, if you can hit the thumbs up on this video, it really helps me as a content creator, supporting the channel as well, and I always appreciate it. If you can drop me down a comment what you guys think, or who you guys are running for arena as well. And then as usual, I appreciate you guys watching to the end. Hopefully you can hit that sub button for more videos like this in the future. That's it from me today. as usual, peace.